here tonight. Netflix put a ton of cash behind that. Obviously, they are looking for any award they can land, and they really push Train Dreams smartly. I got to give them credit. As much as we don't love Netflix, they turned a film that at one time was not viewed as any real threat to be an awards film suddenly to the top or very near the top of the films they had to offer. You talk about a Train Dreams outperforming a J. Kelly, and if you ask Netflix earlier in the year, they would have never thought that would have happened. But sometimes it's just organic. People like Train Dreams, and we already discussed the issues with J. Kelly. It's one of the biggest flops from an award standpoint of any film this year. But you look at Train Dreams, it was named Best Feature, Best Director as well. So it wins the two big prizes tonight or today over in Santa Monica. Twinless was also up for Best Feature along with Peter Hujar's Day. Never saw that, although I'm a big fan of the director. You go back and you look at some of the work of the past. I've not seen that. I look forward to seeing that film. The Plague, you guys know, is in our top 5 films of 2026 because I saw that early in 2026, although it is kind of considered a 2025 film. But The Plague is lights out. If you've not seen that, it is available on digital to my knowledge, so go check that when you get an opportunity to. I highly recommend that film. Sorry Baby, also a film we have a strong recommendation on, and it did not get any wins here today to my knowledge, but I think A24 is happy to see it in this top 5, and then Twinless along with Train Dreams the winner. First feature goes to Lurker, and that is a film that we really were high on. You go back to that evaluation from a few months ago. I really should have put that in our top 10 films of 2025. Some things I just slipped through the cracks. You know, this year I'm going to do a better job of kind of stacking the rankings. So when we get to the end, I know what I had as far as a percentile, right? A 91% really should be in my top 10 or very close to it. And Lurker was at least at a 90, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly high 80s, and that is a very nice selection. I like everything about Lurker, especially the story. I like the performances, direction. Very impressive first feature there for that, so that's a nice win. Cassavetes, something I had not seen any of these films, so I cannot comment on that. Best director does go to Clint Bentley for Train Dreams. You have also Mary Bronstein from If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Pure torture. That film was one of the worst things I saw last year. Really despise that film. I mean, I like the performance, but I do not like that film at any level. I mean, I can't believe I sat through that film. What a painfully unfunny film. I mean, tonight we're going to talk about Nirvana, the movie, the band, the whatever. And I wasn't laughing, but at least I didn't hate myself watching a film like If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Lucky Lou, I did not see. Again, Peter Hujar's Day did not see. And Sorry Baby, I recommend. And Eva Victor, very strong on that direction on that film. Best screenplay goes to Eva Victor, Sorry Baby, so they do get the win. And here I would go with Twinless, but I don't have a problem with Sorry Baby. A lot of things that Eva does in that film from a directorial standpoint I love. I love a shot in that film, particularly if you've not seen it. They go from day to night. It's just a steady shot on the house, and it's like bang, bang, and it conveys so much. If you've seen the film, you'll understand what I'm saying. What a smart composition by Eva Victor, and she is definitely a talent to look at in the future. I'm sure she'll be working with A24 again. It's kind of like a perfect marriage, right? Best first screenplay goes to Lurker. Again, film that I'm very high on. Friendship is in there. Outer Lands didn't see. One of Them Days did not see. Blue Sun Palace did not see. But Lurker, good. Again, high recommendation on that film. Check it out. Best lead performance goes to Rose Byrne. It's where they stack everyone in, actors and actresses and everything, and ends up being her the winner. And that's not surprised because she's obviously up for Oscar. Again, if you've not seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, man, kudos to you if you made it through the film. Because, I mean, seriously, this close. I was this fucking close to walking out of that film. Again, shocking I made it through it. You've got supporting performance, Naomi Ackie from Sorry Baby. I like it. I mean, if you look at these who are nominated, I don't really have a favorite there. Kirsten Dunst would probably be my pick here. Roofman. I think Roofman, when you talk about an awards film that really should have been bigger, it's Roofman. It's one of the best films of the year. I don't think I had... Did I miss that again in my top 10? My top 10 last year was awful. Can I just give myself a really low grade for my top 10? At least I'm honest, right? I screwed up. I missed so many films in the top 10. I mean, I think I like the films we picked, but a film like Roofman should have been in there. I'm very high on that film. So, again, shame, Eric, shame. This year I'll be better, I promise. I'm just fucking around. Can't promise shit. I probably will forget half the films. Because that goes, right? You always remember what you just saw. That's why it's recency bias. That's why all the studios stack these things in last second, because you get the recency bias of a film that you just saw versus something you saw earlier in the year, even a few months back. You're like, what? I don't even remember seeing that. Even if it's good, it tends to fall through the cracks. Best breakthrough performance goes to Kyle Martin, who is the bully in The Plague, and I like him and the lead. They're the two leads of the film. They're both fantastic, and again, I can't recommend that film enough. The Plague, you've got to see it. Best cinematography, Train Dreams, not a surprise. It's cinematography at Oscars. It's cinematography here. When you look at everything else here, Warfare, nice little, I like that call out right there. It's one of the 5, and the rest I did not see. I didn't listen, guys. I see as many films as I can, but there's a point where you just like, I can't get to that. Or frankly, if it didn't play at AMC, and a lot of these films didn't play at AMC, they might have played here at Laemmle, which is our little indie theater chain here in Los Angeles. I don't think we're going to have all of them by the end of the year. I really don't. Indie films are really struggling, as you guys know. I mean, these small films are not doing the numbers they used to do. And it's a shame. Even in A24s, the Neons, they're just not making the bank they used to once we got rid of the windows. The windows were really the glue that held those things together as best it could. And now the windows have been eradicated. So forget it, right? It's just going to be a really rough time for smaller films, and that's what you're seeing even coming out of Sundance. A lot of these films aren't even getting purchased. Like, nobody wants them because they're like, it's not worth the money. Because let's say you spend $5-10 million on a small film that you really like. Box office wise, you're not going to get 10 million out of one of these small films anymore. No way. You better hope that it's a good streaming option and someone purchases it on that end, but it's just too risky. So if you're making independent film, man, it's not a good environment right now. And I don't know how I see it improving. It's unfortunate because obviously those are the films we tend to gravitate to here on MMT, is the smaller projects that come out of nowhere and kind of surprise us like a lurker. So very happy to see that film do well here. Best editing, Testament of Anne Lee, a film I walked out of, right? I was an hour into that. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm not watching this anymore. And it's not the craftsmanship, the tech was good, the editing, fine. Okay, so I don't mind. We talk about extracting things, but from a watchability standpoint, Testament of Anne Lee, after about 45 minutes, you want to take yourself out in the middle of the audience. And I told you guys the story. When I see Testament of Anne Lee, I'm back at one of the theaters all the way around back. Okay, I don't know why I'm even saying that, but I'm just going to tell you because I'm going to paint the picture for you. I'm done. I'm walking out of here. It's a big theater. AMC Burbank has some of their biggest theaters in the back because it kind of goes back to when it was first there before they added the IMAX and the Dolby and all that on the front end of it. But you go to the back, and I start walking out, and as I hit the door, here comes another couple this way, and another dude's right behind me. And they're not going to the concession stand. They're leaving. And I asked, because I confirmed, because I'm a journalist, right? I don't make shit up. I have never, in all of my time on this channel, I have never made up one single fucking thing because I am the receipt king, okay? So if I'm telling you I asked them if they're leaving, you can go ahead. If they were here now, they'd be like, yeah, he asked us. I said, are you leaving? Yes. Well, there you go. There's 3 people, a couple and another dude. Trust me, there were more that were walking out of this movie. I'm not the only person who walked out of that. Long Walk, not a huge fan of. It got the Robert Altman Award here. I mean, man, that's a very, very, very heavily flawed film. Not a fan of that film. Best documentary, honestly, I didn't see shit this year. From a documentary? Did I even see one doc last year? I mean, here's the thing, though, right? Remember, my channel, I am not in Critics' Choice because it's a totally corrupt organization. But even if I were, the majority of members there don't even watch half the shit, so don't give me crap for not seeing everything. I'm sorry. Last I checked, I don't have to scan every movie. Hey, look, you have to see all these things. Fine, the Letterboxd nerds can do that. I'm not going to watch every movie. I'm going to watch the movies I sort of want to watch, and then the ones I really want to watch. And some of the ones I don't want to watch, but I know that you guys want me to watch. But I'm not going to see something that you don't care about and I don't care about. Right? Best international film, Secret Agent, a film that I walked out of. I don't hate it as much as Ann Lee. I just don't love the tone of the film. I like the filmmaking. And listen, I would pick Surratt here. You talk about a cinematic experience, Surratt with that techno score, right? In an end of the world, weird vibe of that film. It's a screenplay that I think is limited, right? But it's about the experience with Surratt. And Surratt's a much more involving cinematic experience for me than Surratt. You can kind of just go with the film and zone out and get into the trance of that techno pumping score. It is really a cool film. If you've not had a chance to see it, I think it's coming out to you limitedly. But I would actually recommend you go find that film somewhere where it has nice, loud sound system. I told you guys I hooked up my sound system that I had still not hooked up for years because I heard that score and I go, I got to hear this loud because I saw the screener link of that. Producers Award, it's a bunch of producers. Who cares? Someone to Watch Award. Director Valentina didn't see it. These are really small films, right? Happy End and Fuck Toys. I mean, listen, we love small films, but I mean, at this point, we're like, what? Okay. I'm sure the letterbox nerds are here to tell me what these are. I mean, listen, you're talking to dude who sees almost everything, so don't come after me. I'm not Zach Pope. I am not Soups. Okay, who watches nothing other than the big films, right? And even if they watch the small films, they don't know what they're talking about. Not that guy. Okay, there's our take on Spirit Awards. If you have anything, hit it. I will get to your comments now because we're going to listen to Timothée Chalamet here momentarily because he is our cinema champion. And I'll tell you why momentarily. Corbett and Fastfold really flopped this year after The Brutalist. Well, listen, Animotion, you look at least it got a Spirit Award. But this film is, when I came out of Testament of Van Lee, I was like, what a very selfish film, right? It's just her saying, this is what I wanted to make. And I'm not saying listen, I know that sounds like me, Weber's being an asshole because directors should be able to make whatever they want. Yes, but you also have to have some appreciation for the audience. Some consideration for the audience. And Ann Lee has no consideration over that 2 hour and is it 30 minute or 2:45? It's 2:15. It feels like 17 hours. When I left, I felt like I'd been in there jet lag. I'd gone to Hong Kong on a one way. I mean, it was brutalizing. So, and I like Brutalist. I'm a bigger fan, much bigger fan. I mean, I understand that there are flaws there. A lot of you don't like the back end and obviously the twist and all that stuff. I get it. The uncomfortable bullshit in that film. I get it, but I still like that film a lot. I can deal with the dense movies, but Secret Agent was nearly impossible to follow. Thank you. RB, I just needed someone else to come on here and tell me that I was right. Because that's how I felt watching this film. And it's funny, like, we talk about having to be in the right mood when you watch a film. If you're not in the right mood to watch something, it's very difficult to get your headspace there. So I was watching this film and I'm just like, I'm not in the mood. I just can't really get here tonight. So there we go. There's our Spirit Award winners and losers. Let's do this. Let's do our cinema champion here on this Sunday night. It's Timothée Chalamet. And let's listen in to what he has to say. This is him the other night. They had a screening of Call Me By Your Name, and he addresses the theatrical experience and the importance of it. You remember, he was in The King, and he was in Don't Look Up, 2 Netflix movies, and that's where the question kind of started. What's the difference between the two? Have a listen. I'm going to crank it as much as possible. The audio is a little bit hard to decipher, but I'll leave the words up, as it were.
If you put out a movie theatrically, what I've felt, based on my experience with The King or Don't Look Up, is that it's just more of a moment. Sounds like cheesy marketing talk, but like it's more ceremony around it, it's more drum roll. And I think it's hard when something goes direct to streaming. This is more a technical conversation. I don't know how interesting this is to talk about, but it's hard to do that, I found, with streaming. And I wasn't always at that mentality because I like things having a big reach. I'm a big believer in, I've gone on a million talk shows too and say support theaters, and I do believe in supporting theaters.
Good. Amen, brother.
I mean, it's your concept makes a point. I was going to contrast my prior point there, but then people supported it with applause, so I'm afraid to contrast
Chalamet feels really genuine. I told you guys when I met him at Critics' Choice, he was like a bolt of energy, right? He just seems, I think he always comes off as a really just natural, honest dude who is almost a little bit insecure in a way. And I think you kind of see some of that in his performances. I think that as he grows as an actor, you're going to see more of him like you did in Marty Supreme. That's where you see full wattage Chalamet. And we didn't see it in Wonka. I think when we get Wonka 2, you're going to see a notable difference between the two performances because he's still growing. He's getting more confident. He might even be introverted, for fuck's sake. I mean, I talk about myself being introverted, guys. I'm not like some super, it might seem like that at times, but at the end of the day, I like kind of having quiet time and just chilling. Like last night, I was going to go out to see a movie. I said, no, I'm just going to hang out. I'm going to watch old wrestling. Why do I watch old wrestling? Because it reminds me of when I was a kid, and I just relax, zone out. I don't have to even, compute anything. And I think that Chalamet might even be some of that. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Let's talk about Sean Baker. Let's just go right into that. I didn't bother making an actual lower third for this. This is why I kind of flying by the seat of your pants, typical stuff that Weber does on Sunday night. Sean Baker says his next film is going to be a love letter to Italian sex comedies of the 60s and 70s. Are you guys shocked that Sean Baker is making another film that deals with sex or sex workers? This guy is so fucking horny. And not in like a good way, right? Forget it. I'm not going to yell about Anora tonight. I'm too chill tonight. I came out of Nirvana, the movie, the band, the whatever, the show, and I just wasn't lit on fire by that film. And I'm already at the end of a day where I played volleyball for like 4 hours. So just cut me some slack. I'm not going to rip on Anora tonight. But when I see this from Sean Baker, wow. There's a surprise. And we talked about Sean Baker, the filmmaker, the director I love, the writer I do not. And I just wish someone else would write his stuff and he just gets to call the shots. But he, from a directorial standpoint, or at least have a co-writer to balance him out. Because the problem is now that he has every Oscar known to man, from Anora, the most overrated, the worst, best picture of all time, then he has more ammunition to do whatever he wants, right? He already was there. Neon was already like, make whatever you want with Anora, and then you get Anora, and you're like, shit. So here we go again. So no one's told Sean Baker no. I think that's not a good thing, right? You need to be told no in your life. And Baker from Florida Project really, that's where he got to become do whatever you want. And he, because he's an indie filmmaker, quote unquote, even though his budgets obviously are bigger than that, he still is in demand enough that if A24 doesn't want him, then Neon will take him. If Neon doesn't want him, A24 will take him. He just bounce back and forth. So he'll do whatever he wants as long as he wants. It's not good for us, though. It's definitely not good for us. Timothy losing his Oscar to Michael B. Jordan for Best Actor will be a cinema travesty. I don't know why you think that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying it won't, Ollie, but I will say this, that Chalamet deserves it. From the second we saw Marty Supreme, this is the winning performance, okay? So there's no way that I can see, I don't want him, why am I even saying this? Because of course I can see that. Because, let's face facts, the Academy loves to virtue signal. And we've talked about it a million times before. If you're box checking, and I'm not saying, listen, we love Michael B. Jordan. I'm a huge fan of Michael B. Jordan. I'm just telling you that if you put Chalamet against Michael B. Jordan in Sinners versus Marty Supreme, you've got Chalamet as the winner. Like, it's not even it's a no-brainer. And I'm going to drag someone in a second because of what I just talked about, that we evaluate the performance. We don't evaluate the skin color. We never have. We never will. Why would I ever even dream of doing that? We don't evaluate the sex. We don't evaluate the pronouns. We evaluate the performance, and that is it. And if it happens to be race X or race Y, it doesn't matter. The performance is the one that wins. And I don't understand how other people can't get their heads around that very simple way to operate. It's bizarre to me. I don't know if it's indoctrination. I don't know what it is. You know, you talk about the woke mindset. Well, I can tell you this, woke mindset ain't ever getting me. because I'm not worried about being told you can't say that. What kind of world do we live in where you can't say something? Words are not violence. Don't even get me started on that shit, okay? Violent words of violence, like I'm going to go do something terrible, those are words of violence. But me saying something's bad or you're not this or that's not words of violence. Sorry, guys, grow thicker skin or just shut up. Frankly, just shut up. I'm just so tired of that whole week. Well, you hurt someone's feelings. I'm Gen X. We hurt each other's feelings all the fucking time. And you don't see me getting up whining, well, someone said something mean about me. Oh my God, what an offense. Like, stop. Super chat. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it as always. I still cannot believe the Academy had the audacity to give Baker 4 Oscars. I know, dude. Go back and watch our evaluation of the Oscar winners from last year. You will see me go off on Anora, calling it the worst Oscar Best Picture in the history of the Oscars. This is not something I started today. I was the first person to trash Anora. Literally. Name someone who was earlier. No one. No one went as hard on Anora as me. And guess who's been vindicated over time? Me again, because I'm always on the right side of history. Those of you who are hammering Wuthering Heights, trust me, you're going to come around. You're going to see it again. Or maybe you probably never even saw it and you're hammering it. It's a great film. It's a very, very strong film. And we're always on the right side of history. Someone's like, I loved it. One of the comments from me saying that Wuthering Heights was really emotional is, you're drinking too much soy. Ooh. That's such the anti-woke comment, right? That's like the Pavlov dogs. Oh, you like this film, therefore you drink soy. Bitch, I'm at the gym destroying you every fucking day. Don't accuse me of drinking soy. If I'm drinking soy, it's soy protein, so my muscles are way bigger than yours, bro. Don't make me rip my shirt off. I'll fucking make you look like a little bitch. Do not ever come in here and say that shit to me. You got the wrong guy. These people don't understand. Like, dude, you gotta use the right material. You can't use that material. You can't use that material for me. You can't. You look like a fucking idiot. Know who you're talking to, okay? Go drink more soy. But no, these people are just ridiculous. You can say that to Desperado, who has a squishy, like, completely unimpressive physique. Right? The anti-woke guy. I'll trash him all day. That guy's one note. Every time. Desperado. Well, this is so fucking woke. Oh, look at me. I have so many views. And he's talking about, I think he actually said something about soy. Dude, Desperado, you look like a dude who all you ingest is soy. Like, you physically look like that, and you're going to talk about that? My whole thing is this. If you're going to talk shit about being in shape, you better not look like a flabby little bitch. Like, shut your mouth, dude. You don't even have the backup. Like, you got to have the backup. What are you talking about? Can you imagine? Imagine if I came out here and talked about being in shape, doing all these things, and I was like a squishy ball of Chet from Weird Science. You guys be like, what? Why do you think I get away with physique critique? Why do you think I get away with a lot of stuff I get away with? Because I put in the time. That's why. A lot of anti-woke people are closed-minded about art. People are allowed to give credit to stuff besides 300 and Top Gun. It's true, RB. But I really have... People don't understand what objectivity means. It means me. It means how I operate. So if you don't understand that whole thing, like I'm trying to virtue signal, like I'm the last person you would ever use that on. You got to know who you're talking to. Otherwise, don't come in and accuse me of X, Y, and Z. You have no fucking clue. Nobody has been on the right side of history more than me. Okay. And I'm tired of having these discussions with people that don't understand who the man is. The man has proven himself how many times? For over a decade, I have never once bowed to a woke agenda. So don't accuse me of being woke or soy. Wrong guy. All right, here we go. Let's do the live MMTE of Nirvana, the band, the movie, the whatever this is. Okay. You know where this is going, by the way. I just led into that, right? Here's a short taste of Nirvana, the band, the movie, the whatever from Neon. Here it is, guys. Let's do it on this Sunday night.
Jay, I figured it out! Step 1, we skydive into the sky dome. We're gonna be quite up high, and would snippers like this, would they be able to cut through like a kind of harness?
No, what are you trying to do, though?
I love BlackBerry. Can I just say that huge fan and same director here, the guy you just saw, Johnson. But here's the deal. I feel like I'm reliving this movie. Like this is you don't need to see the movie. What I'm watching, just hold on. Two dudes going to jump off the tower in Toronto. But oh god.
Is this the line to get into the CN Tower?
I think so.
Thanks a lot. I've got to jump off it, actually.
We got master.
This was impressive. We'll watch this because this is the best part of the film, what you're watching right here. Just watch this, and you don't have to see Nirvana.
3, 2, I don't want it. 1, no.
Crazy,
into
dude.
the open dome. We're coming in. We're going to have the peace signs.
Okay, hold on.
As we float in.
Okay, they didn't show them jumping. There, wait. But that was actually crazy. I'm assuming they did do the jump. Is my guess, or someone else did. That was insane. They go up to the top of the tower there in Toronto, and they dive off, right, to get notoriety for their band so they can play at this club that's in Toronto. That's the whole movie. Is how do we get to play at this restaurant bar that we wanted to play at for a long time? Apparently it was a web series before, and then maybe even a series on Viceland. I can't believe this was a series. I mean, this movie was way too much for 90 minutes. And what I mean by that is not enough for 90 minutes. I love Matt Johnson's manic energy. You see it there. He's the dude with the hat. He's the guy from Blackberry. He's the director here. He's got just a really wild kind of anxiety-driven, fun personality. And I like that, but it only goes so far, right? That gets even old really fast. And the ambition of the project, they're jumping off of the tower. They're doing a Back to the Future. Oh, that's the problem. This feels like a 90-minute improv session where someone in the crowd says, hey, what if you were a band and you wanted to play at a restaurant and then include Back to the Future? And then there they go for 90 minutes talking about that. Let's get an RV going 88 miles an hour, and then we go back to 2008, and then they run into themselves, like, right, when you go back and see how many movies, obviously Back to the Future is mentioned a billion times here, Teen Wolf. But the whole idea runs out of steam so fast that you're here for 90 minutes, and I'm telling you what, man, I might have laughed once or twice. The weird thing about watching a film like this, the one joke premise, it tires, right? It's just, that's it. I mean, I just told you that for 90 minutes. But here's the thing. The weird thing about watching this film, and the same thing with watching that Markiplier film that's based on the video game, it's weird to watch because when you're in a crowd full of fans, which I was here tonight at Burbank, that loved the show, that are fans of the two guys in the movie, they know these people. They are rabid to applaud anything, right? There's like, oh my God, this is great, because you're a fan. Go back to that film, the Markiplier thing. When you watch that, I was in with a bunch of people that watch his YouTube channel. So they're going to be really lenient and they're going to be really anxious to say everything's good, right? Fans have a very hard time of disconnecting from the idol that they idolize. So when they watch something from them, they're just like, everything they do is perfect. They're funny. It's hilarious. And that's how it felt the entire time. I felt like somebody who was missing the joke all throughout the 90 minutes, beyond maybe the first, like I said, them jumping off the tower, but that's like 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in. Once that ends, you're stuck and you're just reliving this one joke over and over and over. Didn't laugh, did not find this film entertaining. I would highly discourage you from seeing this unless you're familiar with their work. These two guys, their comedy duo. If you are, then go check it out. But for me, I was completely on the outside, sitting there. Like, I don't think I've ever done this in a movie recently. I was leaning forward in my seat like this, like just because I was so bored that I had to like change it up. My typical slacking, like I'm way back and I've got multiple seats because typically there's a seat next to me. Thank God there was again tonight. But I had to like switch it up to stay engaged in the film. Not a fan. Not a fan. If you saw this film, let me know. And again, you're going to tell me that you are a fan of the series. That's fine. Then I understand why you like the film. This movie's in no way related to the guy mentioned in the Jeffrey Files new marketing log. I mean, you look at this film as a Back to the Future, right? A love letter to Back to the Future, which we hear about all the time. You know, a love letter to this. We just talked about Sean Baker, a love letter to this. Fine. But again, that's not enough for a movie. Okay. Yeah. You know what's funny? It very much reminded me of Kids in the Hall. I was thinking about Canadian humor. I think I was in with a bunch of Canadians because I was missing something. Like, is this funny? Like, what's funny? I don't understand. Him, being manicky and kind of energetic and all that, cool. The other guy looks like Dustin Hoffman. He didn't do much. He's just kind of there. But even the jokes that are supposed to be funny, I'm just like, this isn't that good. But I've got these, it's a younger crowd in there, right? And all of them were in baseball caps. A lot of them with mustaches. I felt like versions of me, only a little younger. They're all laughing. Like, it's the funniest thing ever. It's weird how people, and I'm not saying that they're not laughing honestly. It's weird how I think people, if you just have a joke, people will laugh because they feel like they have to, right? I've got to laugh because that's a joke and I'm supposed to laugh. It's weird reaction. I don't understand it because I'm not that guy. You got to earn it. Like, if I'm going to praise something, if I'm going to laugh at something, if I'm going to say this is great, you know what? It better be great. I'm not going to say because you're laughing, I better be laughing. I'm going to say this isn't working. Now, granted, again, for them it was. If I were Canadian, maybe. I'm not Canadian. I don't know. I mean, okay, if you say so. I'm just telling you. The average person who has no idea who these two dudes are, except for me knowing him from BlackBerry, they're not going to laugh. You're going to go, yeah, right. And then you're going to move on. And, again, 60% is not the worst score, but again, not a recommendation for anyone who is not familiar with their work. Okay, guys, let's see what else I got here tonight. I don't even remember what else I have. Do I have anything else? Oh, we got a trailer watch. Let's do it. We got a trailer watch. It's this film I'm hearing a lot of love for. Focus paid a lot of cash for this too. This is a horror film called Obsession, and I have not seen the trailer yet. So let's get ready to go on that. It's only like 58 seconds. So here we go. This is Obsession from Focus. And they paid a ton of cash for it. Let's find out why.
One wish, Willow. They only get one wish. I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
Who's Curry Barker? Should I know who that is? Like, isn't that weird how sometimes there's like a director like, who the fuck is Curry Barker? Like, I mean, did they just put it up? Did Curry say, I want my name up there? I mean, I get it. You're the director. But aren't you supposed to? Who the fuck is Curry Barker? Do you guys know? I have no idea. Obviously, I wouldn't be asking the question if I did.
I love you so much. Do you still think I'm pretty?
All right, so it feels a little companion-y, but more darker, right? More of a pure horror film. But it must be pretty decent because I guess there's a big bidding war for this between A24, Focus, and I assume Neon. Those are the kind of the three that would go for something, a small horror film, because you look at the profitability margin. The budget's very low. Even if you acquire this thing for 5-10 million, I don't know what the number was. I'm gonna say 10 million. The chances of you recouping that budget or that price tag of 10, because you didn't pay for it, but the 10 million price tag, pretty high, because you talk about really you need to have 2.5, so you got to make 25 million. Well, it's a risk, but it's a very calculated risk because it's a safer risk certainly than a $150 million film. You look at a One Battle After Another, you're talking about profitability not coming till you hit 300 plus million. It's never going to be profitable. It lost them money. Now, it might win Best Picture, but if you want to make money, you buy something like Obsession for 10. I would assume I could pull it up here, but let's just say 10, 15 max, okay? 10 million. And then if it catches fire, then you can turn that profit on that. You look at something like Barbarian, profitable. You look at, obviously, what's it called? Weapons, right? Same thing. Very profitable from Warner Brothers. You've got Psycho Killer coming out this week. That'll be our Thursday evaluation. I'm really looking forward to that. It has a really nice cinematic feel to it. The trailer does. It looks dark. It's a serial killer. It might be the long legs we are hoping for. So that is going to be Thursday. It's Psycho Killer. We'll watch that trailer in a second because why not? I need to get ready for that film. I just want to watch it again because I want to show you guys. It looks pretty cool. But it's from a really putting your bet on something. This makes sense. At 10 to 15 million, you can go ahead and turn a profit on it. That's my guess. That's why Focus did that. And remember, Focus is owned by Universal. They got a lot of cash. But horror's usually a solid bet. Okay, let's go ahead and look for that trailer. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find Psycho Killer trailer, and that's what opens this week. I know there's not a lot of big films because we had, obviously, this weekend was huge between Crime 101, you had Wuthering Heights, and then you had Goat. 3 big films, really, for the week after the Super Bowl. Remember, Wuthering Heights at 82 million on the worldwide. It's an $80 million film. It's got to be profitable at 200. There's a chance it gets 200 million. Chance. I don't think it will, but because the word of mouth's not that strong. I'm a big fan of it. I want you to see the film, but if you don't want to see it, I get why. And I just think that it's, compared to a lot of the stuff that I watch, I would much rather sit through another Wuthering Heights than half the shit that I have to watch. Here it is, Psycho Killer. It's a minute 10. This trailer is perfect. Here we go. Give me 1 second. Share this tab. Here comes the movie for Thursday night, and we shall watch it. Ready and go.
It hasn't even been 48 hours since you buried your husband. What I hope to help you come to grips with, no matter how many times you replay what happened, the outcome is inescapable.
By the way, it's producer Roy Lee, who has watched MMT or Time or Two. I think what you got here is a film that could go super dark. And that's typically what's missing from a lot of these horror films, like Weapons. Definitely not a dark film. I mean, it pretends to be, but listen, it pretends to be one, but it's not, right, because that ending is just a goof. And I just wish that it stayed with the just central idea of the missing kids and then something terrible happening, not the goofy aunt who, witchcraft. It's not good. Okay, this film looks like it knows exactly what it is. It's dark. And we're going to track this motherfucker down, and he's twisted, right? Like, we've seen it a billion times. I'm not saying this is something original, but I feel like the tone of this film is going to stay consistent, and the ending, I am hoping, is going to be bleak. Give me a bleak horror ending, I'm very happy. Go back to Hereditary. I know a lot of people do not like that because of the way it makes you feel. That's the point. It should feel that way. Horror films should not be everybody survives in a way, right? I mean, occasionally, yes. Okay, I get it. But in general, I have no problem with a film that rips your heart out at the end. So I'm hoping Psycho Killer's good. I'm looking forward to, Psycho Cop. Oh my God, was that an 80s film? I remember that. Remember all the schlocky 80s VHS things? I used to go into Blockbuster Hollywood Video, my hometown of Gahanna, Ohio, Gahanna Video. And I know Gahanna, right? And I went in and I'd look at all the stuff. The funny thing about Gahanna Video was, if you went to the back was the porn section. So I would, listen, I was a kid, and of course I was horny, right? I'd be like, and remember back then there's no internet. So I would all of a sudden be like, let me look over, then dip into the porn room. Did you guys ever do that? Like, you had an opportunity, you saw like a little window, and you're like, I'm going to just go, oh, wait, where did he go? You're looking at the guy at the desk or the girl, whoever is up there. And they were like helping a customer. I'm like, I'm going to dip into the porn room and I'm going to go, oh my God, look at this. And then you grab the box and you flip it over and go, holy shit, this is like, and of course you couldn't. It was not next to Gumby's Pizza. Oh my God, good callback, Johnny. No, Gahanna was my hometown. Columbus is where Gumby's, that's Ohio State. So Ohio State and Gahanna are close. It was like a 20-minute drive. So even though I did live on campus, but I kind of stayed in Ohio my whole going all the way through college and then moved out to LA immediately afterward. My first job out of college was an NBC page. If I never talk about that, I was an NBC page, and that was for Jay Leno. When Leno took over for Carson, I was there, and I used to give tours at NBC. Can you imagine that? At first, I was terrible, and then I got to be really good. We had this one dude named Mark, who was a New Yorker, and he was so funny. The guy was great. He could have been like the biggest stand-up ever. He was a page, and I used to follow him on his tour to steal stuff from his, I'd steal stuff from him. At that point, I was still kind of figuring something out. I watched him, and he'd make shit up, and I go, oh my God, that's gold. Like, we'd go through the halls of NBC, and he'd just make up a story, and then he'd look over at me like, you see what I'm doing here? Like, you son of a bitch, you just made that up. And the tourists were like, oh my God. And he'd be like walking through the hallways going, if we were quiet, we might have someone from Days of Our Lives join the tour. And all the people, oh my God, Marlena. And those of you who watch Days of Our Lives, you're like, oh my God, this guy, he lived it. Listen, again, I tell you this, if I were to produce a film of my life, you guys would be like, this isn't real. This was fake. No, it's real. All this shit's real. How is that even possible? He did this and this. I know it's bizarre. I get it. The weird way, my life has been kind of like an experience of this, that, and the other. It's not been one thing. It's been like, let's try a little of this. Let's try some of that. Let's try some of this. And in a way, that's the way I'm built, right? I have ADHD, in case you can't tell. Not as bad as it used to be, but so I just bounce around a lot, as you probably see on the stream. But I just laugh because when I used to give those tours, I would steal half the shit from Mark, and then I made my own stuff up. But in general, you didn't have to make up everything because there was the Jay Leno set. You'd walk onto the Tonight Show, and the whole crowd, you'd have your little group of like 20 people, and they'd be, oh my God. The first thing they'd always say whenever you walk into the Tonight Show set, they'd always go, it looks so much bigger on television. In truth, it did. It looked much bigger, the way they have those cameras framed and stuff. Just like anything. You've been on a movie set. I remember going on a movie set for, what was that movie from... Oh, God, Del Toro. What was the movie from GDT that was this gothic thing with Tom Hiddleston? You guys remember? I don't remember. What was that thing called? 2 words. Okay, anyhow, I was walking around at Universal back in whatever that was, 2015. I had a friend who worked at Universal a lot, so I'm walking around, and I look over, and I looked in, and I go, what the fuck is that? On the wall. And this wall was huge. Okay. It was the biggest thing I've ever seen. All the way up the wall was all this gothic, like crazy ass design shit. And I go, what was that? Crimson Peak, you guys rock. It was. So look, on the Universal lot, this whole wall, and not like a wall like behind me, like the biggest wall you've ever seen, full of all the stuff. And I was like, oh my God. So, I mean, the magic of movies, right? To be able to see some of that and go in and look, if you've ever been on a set, sets are amazing. I remember walking around Warner Brothers. My buddy used to work over there on Fuller House. You guys remember that show, Fuller House? I went on the set, and I was walking through the house. Like, they construct the house. A lot of these shows, especially like the single cams, Fuller House was a sitcom, so it was kind of like the, typical set. But a lot of times they actually could construct the house. Like, I know Abbott Elementary's over at Warner Brothers. They actually have the school, right? Each room is in this gigantic set, sometimes 2 different stages, right? And they have the entire house. So you can walk through like you're on the TV show, and it feels like you're in a house, but you look up and you see lights, right? So you're like, you got all the walls around you. It's wild. Like I said, I've kind of seen a little of everything. I've seen the production side of things. I've seen the business side of things. I was a page in NBC. I've done a little of everything in my life. I used to be a PA for Brillstein Gray, which was a major producer of sitcoms. You go back and look at Just Shoot Me. You look at the Larry Sanders Show. I was on Just Foxworthy. So being a PA, my job used to be in LA. I used to drive scripts around. So I would go get in my car. This is my job. I was the night PA. When I moved out here, I worked as a page. Then I got the job at Brillstein Gray. And my job was to take a script and to drive it around Los Angeles to every single person that wanted a script for the next day. Okay. So I would make copies of the script. of the sitcom script that would change day by day, right? So I'd go in about 9 o'clock. The writers would be writing until about 11. Then they would finish. They'd hand me the script. And they go, here it is, Weber. And I would go and I'd stick it in the copy machine and I would make 100 fucking copies. And after I made the copies, I had to take the copies. I had to put a cover sheet on it and a lower, right? A front and a back covers, and then I had to brad them. You guys know what I'm talking about, the brad, the gold brad, and you separate. So I'd do that 100 times. I'd stack them all up. Then I'd put them in my car, and I'd drive around LA, and I would drop them off at Jeff Foxworthy's house, co-star's house, the director's house, and it was all over the place. I would start like in Hollywood, and then I'd work my way over to like Laurel Canyon, then I'd go down Benedict Canyon, and then I'd go out to Malibu sometimes if we had a guest star, like, oh shit, someone lives in Malibu, you gotta be kidding me. All the way to Malibu. Then I'd have to come all the way back across the 101, Crime 101, all the way across and get to, on the 134, to Glendale. Usually my last stop of the night was Haley Joel Osment. Remember him? The kid from Sixth Sense. He was on that show. See, do you see what I'm saying? Could I make this up? Could I make this story up? Of course I couldn't. Like I said, I don't have why. This is all, what more details do you want? I would go to his house. It was in Glendale. I would drop the script off at Haley Joel Osment's house, and it was like 3:30 in the morning. I would drive my ass home. I would collapse in bed, and I'd sleep until about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd go to the gym, and then I would have to be back at work at 9 o'clock at night. It was actually kind of a cool job because no one told me what to do. They said, as long as you do this, Eric, you get these scripts done, and you drive them around town, and you drop them off, that's all you got to do. And then that was it. I didn't have to deal with anyone in the office because they all left. It was me by myself on the lot at Radford, CBS Radford, and I would get all the scripts together, and then I would drive all over the place. Sometimes stop at 7-Eleven, get myself a Diet Coke. Actually, back then, I think it was a full Coke or a Mountain Dew. And then I would keep going, and it was a great job. One of my favorite jobs of all time. You know what's funny? Listen, when you talk about Schumacher, you go back, and I was at Warner Brothers. I was this close to getting the PA job for the Nicolas Cage Superman movie. Okay, I interviewed for that PA job, and then the whole film went to shit. But I pretty much had that job, so I would have been the PA on who was directing that. I remember. Remember that Nicholas? You guys know, remember, because obviously it's in the film that you all hated, The Flash, which is much better than you guys give it credit for. But I was this close to being Nick Cage, Superman PA. And listen, if you're a movie PA, dude, you get your ass handed to you. That is a very tough job. You're there all night. The shoots go 20 hours. You're there. The nice part about the sitcom was I knew my hours were going to be like 9 till like 3 in the morning. Like that was it. And then the job's over. The pay was garbage. But back then it was minimum wage above, but it wasn't that much. Remember, my rent was cheap. I mean, God, what was my rent back then? My rent back then was like $475 for a studio. And here in Burbank, it was $475. Can you imagine? I mean, now a studio is at least $1,600, probably more like $18 to $2,000, but $475. So even though the job didn't pay that well, it still was enough to cover. I was not hurting for money. I was rich. I know this is all this. Oh, about the Nick Cage Superman movie. Oh yeah, for sure. It was weird. 800 with roommates. Well, of course it is. Yeah, right, exactly. And you have roommates. But 800 is actually not that bad with roommates, to be honest with you. It's not in LA with roommates. It's got to be at least $1,250, $1,500 minimum. And the rents just keep going up. I mean, at some point, listen, I like LA. I don't love it like I used to. I've talked about this before. I mean, LA is not the same place it was. Certainly not back in the mid to late 90s when I was doing that job. Now, it's just not. You know, you talk about Hollywood's gone downhill. Everything here's just kind of lost the magic, lost the luster. And that's the truth. That's not me, like my experience. It's just true. The good news about where I am is Burbank's amazing, right? Burbank's very safe. It's got the AMC down the street. Listen, if you're going to live in LA, Burbank's the place to be. It's no issues with homeless. I mean, there's definitely some, but they don't allow tents. So you don't have to deal with like Hollywood, man. You trust me. If you guys haven't been out here, you go to Hollywood and you just go like to the Walk of Fame. You've probably seen the videos. There's tents everywhere. There are crazy homeless people walking around. I told you guys that one time over a year ago when it's way worse now. the homeless guy threw something at the back of my car and just like drilled the side of my car. It's like I want to say it was like almost like a softball. Thank God it wasn't something like a brick. It would have destroyed the window. It bounced off my window so hard. I go, what the fuck? And the homeless guy's going, ugh. There's no reason, just threw the fucking thing. I mean, that's what it's like out here now. And that's why Burbank's not like that. I'm not saying that it's the safest place in the world, but it's certainly a lot safer than LA. LA, I would not ever live in right now. There's no way. No amount of money you could pay me to move to Hollywood. All right, guys, let's get ready. I'll do the comment blast closeout here on this Sunday night because we're good. Existence. Oh, this person, too bad. Too fucking bad, man. We're not here for your pity party. I don't care. Rise above it. No, this life is not for us to say, oh, well, look at you. We feel so sad. Pick yourself up. Make something of yourself. No one's ever handed me shit. Can I tell you that, guys? I've said it a million times before. Oh, the white guy. Listen, no. I worked for everything that I ever got and anything that I've ever done. No one ever said, oh, well, here's a white guy. Let's give him whatever. No, it just doesn't. Dude, no. I'm tired of that whole bullshit argument. And, maybe it happens here and there. It didn't happen to me. So don't act like everybody. Oh, well, look at you. Listen, if it were true that if you're white, I would have a lot more money than I have now. But the fact is, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm good. I don't need to be rich. I don't actually even want to be rich because, frankly, I think it invites more trouble because then all of a sudden your proclivities become more dangerous, as it were. And I'm good. I'm happy with how things work. I got a good set of friends. I like doing the show. I'm glad some of you enjoy watching it. And at the end of the day, it's just about producing content that you enjoy producing and being creative. And I think that's kind of the thing. I actually get more fun nowadays out of making these graphics. I'm not kidding you. Like, I'm like, oh, guess what? I've got a new color I'm going to debut on Thursday night, right? It's like, I know that's like, to you, you're like, who cares? To me, that matters. Like, that's what I'm interested in. And, whatever it is that you're interested in, go for it. All right, couple more and we're out of here on this Sunday night. Thanks for being here as always. Probably true, Safik. I mean, really, accountability and reality are exactly, right, Klein? Isn't that the thing? Isn't that the weirdest thing to hear, right? It's fascist. For what? For accountability? How? If you do a home invasion, if you are part of a crime that we all know is a crime, right? No gray area, and you're found guilty, I'm not listening to your sob story. I don't care that you had a hard childhood. It doesn't matter to me. Why does that matter? Okay, same thing when we evaluate a film. Have I ever gone into a film and said, well, this is already good because the race, the sex, the pronouns of the sexual identity, whatever it is? No. It's always about the film, about the product and the merit. It's the same thing with the judicial system. It's not white or black. It's right color. It's literally black and white in that you're the wrong or you're in the right. And if you're in the wrong, you're going to jail. I don't care. I don't care. And I don't even understand these activist judges, right? Oh, well, this person, we gotta put them out on the street. What? No, they're a dangerous society. Why are you doing this to us? Why would you put someone that's a danger to society back on the streets? Someone who's had multiple convictions and they're back on the street, like the guy in Charlotte, right? How does that happen? If you don't have the jail space, build a bigger jail. I'm not going to have pity for somebody who's doing shitty things. They let a father who stabbed his child out of bail, and I heard about that. Well, no, it's not just that. It's like people getting let out of jail for stuff like the 25-year sentence. I just watched like one of those 48 hours. Sometimes I watch some of those true crime things, and they're like, this guy just got out of jail, and like, what? He killed somebody. How's he out of jail in 20 years? Like, dudes, like, if you actually did that, wouldn't you expect to be put away for life? Like, you'd be like, did the judges say 20 years? No way. I just killed somebody. 20 years? Jesus. Like, I mean, seriously, I just don't understand where we are as society, how this can even happen. I just don't. Being rich strips the personality and likability out of you. I mean, probably. I mean, I don't have to worry about it. That's the good news, Steve. I appreciate it. It's great, Steve. I'm glad you like Crime 101. It's, you know what it is? It's cinema. I just talked to Gone Girl. He was here a little bit earlier, just helping me out a little bit. Gone now, but he did talk about how the character transitions, the scene transitions are just immaculate. And that's exactly what you notice when you watch that film, Steve. I'm sure you saw that, right? The way that the director there takes your from one character to another and seamlessly weaves it together. Very difficult to do. That is a very high skill set, very elite skill set. That's why I'm telling you, after watching Crime 101, I want him on my team. I am giving him a movie tomorrow. Like, you're in. You are the guy. Okay? Not even a question. He's directing my next film. It's just instant. You can just watch that within seconds. I was watching it because I had no real knowledge of Crime 101 other than the trailer wasn't that good. And then I'm starting to watch that last Monday and I'm like, wow, okay. I'm really liking what I see. And that's what I was talking about. Like, I would love to be part of the team who watches a film and then says, here's what we're going to do with this. But they won't let me come in. I've told you guys that story. When I go to the test screenings, they're like, you can't come in because they know who I am and they think I'm going to be too mean. Like, that's what listen, I told you guys, I'm told the story before. I walk in now, me and Menzel, the dude's like, hey man, oh my gosh, I watch your channel. I go, hey, thanks, appreciate that, bud. And I'm like, you're doing a test screening, right? And he said, yeah. I was like, can I come in? He goes, I would love to. I would really love to have you come in, but they're going to kick you out. I go, why? Why? Because they don't want someone in there who's going to say, this is what's wrong with the film. Boom, 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 boom. They want, frankly, the audience that shows up for a $5 gift card, $20 gift card, they have to pay more now because people aren't even coming to these things. They want those people that, frankly, don't even know what they're talking about. They don't want someone like me who's going to actually make the film better because they actually don't want to hear it, right? Especially if the film's already done. If you already did something and you know it's like kind of like the version you have to work with, you don't want to hear me say, this film's not good. You got to do this, this, and this. Plus, remember this. There's a lot of egos. You go back, you look at, I remember I went to that test screening. I've talked about this before. The test screening for what James Gunn was executive producer of the film. It was set in that office building. Whatever. Okay, whatever it was called. I was there and James Gunn's there. James Gunn, that dude's ego is so fucking big. Do you think James Gunn's going to listen to anything I have to say? Even now, back then, no one knew who I was. Now they do. James Gunn's heard of me. No question about it. And if I'm there and I say, James Gunn, here's the issue, dude, like Superman, I would have been like, holy shit, bro, what are you doing here? What's going on? They don't want to hear it. They think they know everything. The problem is they don't. I'm not saying I know everything because I know there's things on this channel that I've done that are not great or things that I don't think are the way I would normally do it. But at least it's my channel. I'm not doing a $100 million movie, $200 million movie. So, you know, I would be open to criticism. And some of you even said that you went too far on this. Stop doing this. Gone Girl's like, you know, sometimes you just get too hard. Like earlier, I was going off on the guy calling him soy. I got it. I'm not saying he's wrong. You're right. I'll listen to that note. But it's my channel. It's not like a product for a company. If I was a product for a company and I was doing a show for Sirius XM, right? I would have to change what I do slightly. I mean, I would do a version, but I would have to watch where I go. I think on this channel, the nice thing is I can go wherever I want. I don't have to worry about it. I can do whatever I want because I don't say anything that's, I mean, listen, we're just saying facts, okay? But when you are working for a corporation, you better be listening to people. And I'm good, really good at diagnosing and getting in under the hood and saying, this is what needs to be changed. You got to do this, got to do that, got to change that, get rid of that. Strip this all out. You got to change, you know, I mean, it's a lot. Some of theyese films are really they're going to take a ton of overhaul to be presentable, but they don't want to hear it. They want to hear someone come in for the $20 gift card and go, yes, this is great. I really liked it. You know, just like real low IQ kind of stuff. And they almost want to hear that because it's easier for them. They don't want to go back and hear, oh, you got work to do, right? Because people don't want to do work. It's like, this movie's already shot. Like, well, you're not releasing it. You know, look at Batgirl. I mean, there'll be movies I've seen that I say, we're not releasing this. I mean, what was one recently? What did I just see recently? And I was like all over it. And I'm like, this is a disaster. Because, Send Help. If I saw Send Help, I'd say we got to reshoot a lot of this. Like, it's not working. I know the film's actually going to be profitable or close to it, but I'm just saying it's not a great film. Send Help needs a ton of work. Like, it needs a complete overhaul. And I would definitely not have said that's a great film. And I hope some of you saw that and agree with me now. Because back then I was like, Weber's the only guy who's out there. Everyone says it's amazing. All right, guys, thanks for being here. We're back on Thursday for Psycho Killer. I might check out The Screen Unseen tomorrow, which is going to be, I believe, the new A24 film with Glenn Powell. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. So if you go and it's not that, do not yell at me. But I think it is. And if it is, I might go see it. And then I'll do a quick little reaction outside AMC. It's going to be raining here in LA, so I'll have to figure out somewhere to shoot that. But it's supposed to be nasty here for the next like 4 or 5 days. Today was actually pretty nice. We got lucky this weekend. And now tomorrow, Enjoy your President's Day if you're off. We'll be back on Thursday for Psycho Killer, the live evaluation straight out of theater. Thanks for being here live from LA. The stream is over. Good night from Los Angeles.